So guys, this is George from The Happy Gardener. So today we're discussing the benefits of using biochar in your garden, and he'll explain more about how it works. Okay, so hi,
Okay.
okay, so and then we'll take questions right at the end. Okay, George, go ahead, you're on.
All right. Well, I'll try to explain the best I can. I'm not an expert on biochar. I started using it a couple of years ago. I've seen results. Um, but let's maybe we should go to what is the basic. What is biochar? So
Yes.
biochar is charcoal. So charcoal is wood that has been cooked down until all the volatils and all everything inside of it is gone, and all that's left is carbon. Um, that carbon is then charcoal. Your biochar is charcoal essentially. And what biochar does is it is a highly absorbent material. You've cooked out everything out of the wood until what's left. See if I can grab a piece of charcoal right here. What's left is just this dried out piece of charcoal from your initial piece of wood. Now, if you were to look at this through a microscope, it would be extremely porous. It's hollow. Everything's cooked out of it, and it becomes like a sponge and absorbs everything that it comes into contact with. You can use it to deodorize air. You can use it to clean fish tanks. It's used for a lot of different things. Charcoal is because it's absorbent, highly absorbent. In the garden, what that means for you is it's absorbing nutrients. Okay, and that maybe I should jump back to my little picture here. Hopefully, you guys can see it. If I can adjust this at all. Let's call your garden nutrients your NKPs, your fish emulsions, those sort of things. That's what you need to feed your plant. That's what you need to have happy plants in your garden. Okay? If you don't have that, you have very weak plant. Now, when we're as gardeners, what we do is we're always adding to our garden. We're always adding compost. We're always adding some sort of nutrients, chemical fertilizers on occasion. Some people do fish emulsions, kelp meal, all this stuff. It gets expensive, but if you don't do that, your plants won't grow as pretty, won't grow as nice and healthy. So what biochar does for you is it locks up those nutrients, and it doesn't allow them to flow through and out of your garden. Because what they'll do is, especially in water solubles, you put them in your garden, they get wet, they wash out, they become pollution. I don't know if you guys can see my little pictures here. So you've got your fish emulsions and your different fertilizers. You feed your plants are healthy and happy, but it's water soluble and it washes out. Okay, when it washes out, it's no longer feeding your plants and it becomes a pollution. Now, we don't want pollution, we want healthy plants. But what you can do with biochar is you can add that to your soil, and that biochar absorbs the nutrients. Okay, it absorbs those nutrients that would flow out and then become a pollution or no longer serve in your garden. Now, I like to think of biochar as a battery. Now, this battery is empty. This empty piece of charcoal or carbon has nothing in it. So if you put this into your garden, you're going to end up with, I don't know if you guys can see my little picture here, but I got a picture of a little sickly looking plant here. It's dying because that biochar, that empty battery, sucks energy. It sucks up all those nutrients and it holds them. Okay? And what that'll do in your garden initially is it's going to pull all the energy out of your soil, and then you're going to have sickly plants. That's why a lot of people, when they initially try biochar, they're like, this doesn't work real well. This doesn't. It's not helping my garden. My plants look worse. And the reason is that battery hasn't been charged. Okay, it hasn't had any nutrients put in it. So what I like to do with my biochar is I like to take it and I like to put it in a 5-gallon bucket with chicken manure or some sort of supplement and allow that biochar, that battery, to charge. And once I've done that, once I've charged that biochar, now I have a battery in my garden, okay, so to speak. I have a battery that my plants can draw from, okay? They're able to draw nutrients out of that biochar, and whatever nutrients they're not using, that biochar is always absorbing. It's always absorbing the excess, so there's not any waste here. So that's kind of my quickie explanation on biochar. Okay. Another thing biochar does is it increases the surface area of your garden, so to speak, on a microscopic level. If you think of that piece of biochar as a sponge, and I'm trying to do a quick visual analogy here. We're going a little jar of water, and there's a pen mark on it right here. So let's picture you have, now this is microscopic, but you have this stone, which is representing a granule of sand, a piece of dirt in your garden. If you were to take that and you were to add it to this jar of water and pull it out, it hasn't absorbed anything because it's not porous, okay? It's not hollow like that biochar. Now, biochar kind of acts like this little sponge. Now, this sponge is about half the size of that stone that I just put in there, that grain of sand. So half its size, but initially, 10 times, 100 times the surface area. Okay, so it's going to hold more moisture than that grain of sand would. And you see that, I don't know if everybody you can see, but the water level dropped down quite a bit because this is porous and that stone is not. So that's allowing your garden or your soil, but with the use of biochar, to hold more material, more food, more moisture. There's a buffering effect if you accidentally add too much. Say you're using a chemical fertilizer. I'm using chicken manure for that manure. It's a hot feed. If you add too much to your garden, you're going to kill your plants. Your plants are not going to do well. So that biochar has a buffering effect of absorbing that excess material and keeping your plants from burning as easily. There is a point, I'm sure, that it gets super saturated and it won't hold anymore, but for the most part, I haven't seen that happen. So that's my quick explanation of how biochar works.
Awesome.
One more quick thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
A friend of mine that he moved up to the Port Angeles area from here. Now where I'm at, I get about 12 inches of rain a year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Port Angeles area, I believe it's over 3 feet of rain. That constant moisture, that constant precipitation flushes out your nutrients out of your soil. That's why you tend to have yellowing plants if you don't continue to feed. So he's a big fan of biochar. He really tried to turn me on to it, and because he found that was the one way he could keep from continually having to feed his plants.
Got it. Awesome. Great information, George. So I'm going to have some questions for you, and also probably the audience might have some questions. So let me kind of tilt the camera up a little bit here. And I closed my blinds because it was so bright, guys. So I'm still here. It's a little dark now. Get a little bit of light. Okay, so did you guys have any questions for us or for George? All right. So from what I understand, that was one. You answered my question already, George. So one of my questions were, what kind of where does the biochar come from? And I think you answered that it's from the lumber industry. So is that correct?
Yeah, it does come from the lumber industry. There's a lot of companies now that are
Mm-hmm.
specializing
Okay.
in producing biochar for the home gardener. And we're starting to see it more in the commercial agriculture,
Okay.
uh, because farmers are wanting to save a buck. They don't want to continue to produce and buy uh, fertilizers for their or as much. They're able to save a little bit that way
Okay.
by adding the biochar.
So pretty much what you're saying is by adding the biochar, it helps retain nutrients, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the main thing for us as home gardeners.
Okay. But also you mentioned that before you amend it to your soil, you need to make sure that the biochar is activated with nutrients already, so that way it doesn't take away from the plants. Sorry, I'm just
Sorry,
trying
you
to
still there?
understand. So I think you mentioned that before you add the biochar to your plants, that you have to make sure that it already has absorbed nutrients before adding it to your soil.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an empty porous material.
Yes, got it.
It's like
Okay.
this sponge. There's nothing in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you put it in the soil, it's going to just suck everything out of soil.
Got
So
it.
if you
Okay.
didn't feed the biochar first,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to harm your garden.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
it it's great for. It also holds a lot of microbiology in the biochar.
Wow,
And these
nice.
little cells uh, hold all your little bacteria and stuff. It gives them a place to live.
Got it. Very nice. And we need all those beneficial microbes in the soil to help break down the organic matter so you can feed the plants. So that is great. So it looks
Right.
like there's some questions here, George. So I'm going to read them to you so that way we can help answer. So it says here, oh, let's say hi to everyone. So we have few people on the chat here. So hi Tina, Food Forest, Zatar Gardens, Karen, and Stephen Mason. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining. And apologize for the beginning of the video in the chat. Had some technical difficulties and lighting issues. So, anyways, it looks like there's some questions here. So, it says here from Karen Liu, is it the same charcoal you put in some of your orchid mix? Would it be the same kind of
I,
charcoal, the biochar?
I believe it. I believe it's the same kind.
Same. Mm-hmm.
If you're buying it pre-inoculated or pre-charged, I'm thinking it's inoculated.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Uh, it is the same stuff you would put in your orchids.
Same stuff pretty much. Okay, let's see here. And it says here from Food Forest Permaculture, biochar is the spice of good soil, food from within the soil. Okay, which is true because of how you described it. Did you guys have any other questions for George? So I think I've got more questions. So like you said, it is porous. I guess it's kind of the same thing that we use for activated charcoal when we take it in case of food poisoning or
Yeah,
is that the same thing because it absorbs
it's
the
the exact same thing.
okay, got it. All right. So let me just look at the chart. Oh, the screen's too bright. Okay, or you can print the chart and show. Okay, so he did draw the chart on a chalkboard, guys. But maybe do you happen to have a chart that we can print from your website or from anywhere?
Well,
I think you have a picture of it on
I
Instagram.
can make up something and I'll post it on my in my Facebook
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
site. Um, Also, I did do a video not too long ago, which has all my little illustrations throughout the video.
On the video 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
That's
it was a
right.
couple weeks
Okay.
ago.
So guys, make sure you head to his channel and check out his previous video on biochar, using biochar in the garden. It was actually a nice illustration, and that's why I was very interested. And I think that it's great for us to learn more about it, and a great option for us gardeners to add it to our gardens or use it. Okay, so there's a question here from Zatar Gardens. Could hardwood lump charcoal work as well?
Yes, it could, and it is essentially the same thing.
Okay.
Um, it might not be cooked down far enough. There still may be some organic material in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I use hard lump charcoal on occasion because making your own biochar can be a mess. Uh,
Okay, so it's pretty much what he
so
was. Mm-hmm.
if you don't have access to biochar, if there's not a facility making it, and you're not going to make it in your little residential area, you can in fact use lump charcoal to make your biochar.
Okay.
You want to crush it up as fine as you can get it, and add it to your garden. Again, you want to charge it first. I don't suggest using charcoal briquettes. They aren't exactly the same.
Okay.
They're using a mined charcoal, Azer. Oh goodness, I can't remember the word. I just looked it up too. It's a mined charcoal. It's not biochar. They'll use a combination of
Okay.
biochar. They'll use charcoal.
Okay, and the one that you mine.
And then they'll mine charcoal. And
Yes.
they'll add it. They'll add some lime, and they'll compress this into a composite material.
Okay.
But it's not the exact same thing. So I would suggest not using that. But certainly, yeah, use lump charcoal if you don't have access to it.
Okay.
Again, if you get on the internet, you can look around and possibly there's someone near you that is producing it. It's a lot easier to buy it, I think.
Okay.
Than it is to make.
Then so having to spend time in it and energy trying to make your own charcoal. So it is. Would you say that it's reasonable to buy, like, say, an 8-quart bag of charcoal? How much would that run?
I would say I want to say about $10.
Oh, not bad.
$10 to
pretty good.
$15
Okay.
a month for a large. What are they? 10-pound bag.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
lump charcoal.
Oh, that's
And then
good.
again, if you have a wood chipper or something, you can run it through there and crush it.
Okay.
Mix it up in some compost. Now
Mhm.
you have to let it cure in that, kind of like it's like a fine wine. The longer it ferments or longer it sits in compost
The
or whatever
better.
you're feeding it, the better it will be.
Got it.
Now,
Okay.
you have to remember too, it is hydrophobic.
Okay.
It's slightly hydrophobic. So, how you'll have a sponge, you put it in the sink and it just floats there?
Yes.
Because that sponge is also hydrophobic. It has little pockets in it that are holding air and it's not absorbing. So you kind of have to force it to be absorbed first, or some moisture first, before it wants to really absorb well.
Got it.
So on occasion, when I mix mine up, I'll make sure I wet it well. That'll help it absorb the nutrients better.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So it looks like there's a question here. Okay, Zatar Garden says that we charge it with fish emulsion. So that sounds like a good idea. And this is from TJ. Yeah. So a question from TJ Thoreau. Would the product EM1 be a good inoculant?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What is EM1?
If I might be getting my stuff mixed up. I believe that is like
See if I can adjust this better here.
a bunch of micronutrients.
Okay.
I believe that is. Now, don't quote me on it. I might be getting my products mixed up.
We can ask TJ if TJ, if you can. Oh, sorry. So it's more likely a micronutrient mixture. So in that case, it should be okay, right? Because you're trying to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, anything that could be absorbed into the charcoal and it could, because it's so porous, and that would provide nutrients to the plants. So okay, great.
I'm a big fan of anything though that is going to feed bacteria. So your compost, your compost teas, those sort of things. That way you're making that, because that biochar acts like a little house for all your little micro bacteria, all your fungi and all that stuff. So if you can feed those things, you're going to have better biochar.
Nice. Okay, I think there's another question. So, okay, so TJ Thoreau just said that the microbial inoculant concentrated effective microorganisms, at least that's what the label says. So it is that concentrated microorganisms. So yeah, TJ,
Yes,
so that
absolutely.
would be great to inoculate biochar. So that's great. So would you, I'm assuming it would be okay to mix in some worm castings in there, right?
Oh yes, worm
Yeah.
castings are
Mm-hmm.
cool. There's a lot of microbiology going on in worm castings, and
Yeah.
probably one of the best things you can add to
Mm-hmm.
your biochar.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really I'm an advocate for worm castings. I've been using it for I think since 2012, since we started our worm bin, but we just don't produce enough, so I alternate or I use an alternative a brand which is Vermistera, awesome, and I've had great results with worm casting tea as well. So there's a question here from Zatar Gardens. It says, "How long do we inoculate for?"
Um, I usually about a month, sometimes longer. I
Okay.
suspect, again, the longer you inoculate it, the better it's going to become.
Okay.
The more material is going to be absorbed by that biochar. So I shoot for a month. Sometimes I forget and I'll leave the bucket and I've got some sitting out there in the yard right now that have been there since last summer.
Okay, got
So
it.
plenty of time on that.
So the longer the better, you said? About a
Yeah,
month?
absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah, at
Zatar,
least
okay.
a minimum of a month.
Minimum of a month. Okay, Zatar Gardens, that's he said about a month to inoculate the charcoal. So any questions, any more questions, guys, before we log off? So this video will be on the replay. So if you missed it, you can watch the beginning. It'll be on my YouTube channel, and please make sure to check out the Happy Gardener. This is George. That's his channel, and he actually has a nice. I say he has a great demonstration, or I should say instructions, and he talks more about this biochar in his channel. There's a video that he uploaded a couple of weeks back, so I thought it was very informative, and that's why I got excited and invited him along to chat with us. Oh, there's another question. So this is from Food Forest Permaculture. It says layers of wood ash, leaves, biochar twigs, wood chips, dead bird, dead goldfish, kitchen waste, seaweed, peanut shells, coffee grounds, etc., and make 5-inch layers, and this makes soil, pathway soil bank. Oh, okay, so you're talking about composting
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
biochar. Okay, so would biochar activate a compost pile?
Um, Biochar would work in conjunction with the compost pile. It wouldn't activate it. The
Got it.
compost pile is the fuel. Okay? We got to think of, again, is that biochar is the battery. It's the reserve materials.
Got it. Okay.
It keeps everything in reserve. But yes, you should always, whenever possible, mix up the biochar in your compost.
Okay.
That's the best way to inoculate it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Food Forest Permaculture. Thanks for that. So, hi, Bob. Thank you. So, any more questions, guys, before we log off? Again, this video is going to be on replay, so you can watch the beginning where he went over his illustration here and talked about biochar and the benefits of it and using it in our gardens. So, I think that's about it. So, I think we're going to get going. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much, George, for joining us. Appreciate it. Really appreciate that you taking
Thanks for
time
having me.
to join us and explaining this to us. Oh, hold on. Someone says say no to composting and make pathway soil bank. Okay. Are you familiar with pathway soil bank?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
So Food Forest Permaculture says that it's not say no to composting, make pathway soil bank. I think that's what was referred to that current post. So Food Forest Permaculture, if you could explain what pathway soil bank is, isn't that pretty much composting? Similar to that? If you're still there. Okay, I think yeah, maybe we'll just have to answer, I can answer it later. I'm not familiar with pathway soil bank, but I'm assuming it's this kind of similar to compost or soil that's made from all the carbon and nitrogen. Let's see. Oh, find it on YouTube. We will look it up. That's a great one to read about and learn about. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. And again, thank you, George. So I will leave his link to his YouTube channel in the description box of this video. So check out his channel, please. That would be great. And okay, Food Force commented one more time, layers of biomass. So that's what I think they
That's
meant.
what he was explaining.
What was trying to explain with the Pathway Soil Bank. Thank you so much, Food Force Permaculture, and thank you everyone for joining us. And have a wonderful